What's up guys? Today we are going to talk about doing some maintenance on a Mercury 250 Pro XS. Take care of your motor, it'll take care of you. So I get this 100-hour kit from PartsVu. It's got everything you need in it. They sell a 300-hour kit and various other things too. Anything you really can need for your motor, they have. I'll put the link in the description here for that. If you purchase it through that link, it will help support our channel. But make it really easy. Kind of comes with your oil filter. Comes with the fuel filter, which I change yearly regardless. It comes with the little gaskets for your lower unit, which is nice because you do not want to reuse those. It comes with a bottle of gear lube and your oil, 7 quarts of it. This is a 10W30 synthetic blend. It's super easy to change the oil on these motors. I took the top off here already. We get down here, you're gonna need a clear tube that fits over your little drain here. I have to look and see exactly what size this is. I can't remember. They used to include these. This kit didn't have it in there. You'll need a 10mm socket for your drain plugs down here in your lower unit, and then it's a 5/8 for your set screw here, which you'll just loosen this with the ratchet, and then you'll just crack it by hand until the oil starts flowing out of your tube into your drain pan. You do not want to loosen this too much, or else there's actually like a piece of rubber or gasket in there. If you loosen it too much, it can mess with that, and then this could possibly get water in there in the future, and you do not want that. So just a little bit goes a long way there. So we'll crack all this open and get this oil draining out, and then we'll take the cowling off in a second once we get this loose, and help speed things up on the drain. Pop these off. You do your lower one first. It won't get so messy. It'll kind of hold the oil in there. And you might have to do something if that little yellow gasket doesn't come off. Make sure that comes off there so you don't double up gaskets in the future. Pop that in there, and this is a good time also to look at your oil. Make sure there's no discoloration, any signs of water in there. All right, let's get that top one out. You can see the oil starts coming out a little bit quicker. And then while that's draining, we're gonna move on over to our side piece here. All right, so we get our 5/8 socket on and crack this open. Like I said, just a little bit to get to move, and then you get to put this clear tubing on, which I'll find out what size it is. It wouldn't hurt to go up a size in tubing, to be honest with you. All right, once you get your hose on there, we're just gonna take this, start to loosen it, and the oil will come out here in just a second. Once it starts coming, that is good enough. Slide the oil pan over a little. Okay, now while that's doing its thing, we're gonna hop up here and pop the cowling off, take the dipstick out, and work on the oil filter, help speed up that process. These are pretty easy. Just pop open this door, take this red, pop it up, and now it's good to take this off. It's kind of heavy, so I'm gonna put the camera down while I take this off. All right, once we get that off, I'm gonna crack this, help that drain a little, pull that a little bit. And then we're gonna work on the oil filter over here. Our oil filter is right here. It's easy to get to. Got this little catch can area here. So basically you can unscrew this, and if you lose any oil, which you're going to, because it is upside down, it will drain into this little reservoir, which you can then use a water bottle, go underneath here, pop this cap off, and collect that extra oil. So they make it pretty mess free. So we're gonna go ahead and take this off and put the new one on. You're probably gonna need a filter wrench, but might be able to get this off with my bare hands, we'll see. All right, that one was pretty mess free. We'll get our new one out. I'll take just a touch of the old oil just to get her started here. Make sure you get your old gasket off. Don't want to leave that on. And you get this snug. I do 3/4 of a turn once it's snugged. All right, that takes care of your oil filter. While we were doing all that, this is completed. So we're gonna pop this off, tighten this back up with our 5/8. Snug, and then we're going to work on filling the motor with oil, and then we'll come back to the lower unit. Kind of wipe this down, get any residual or as much as you can out of that area. Okay, now these motors call for 7 quarts of oil, but I think it varies slightly. Some of them seem like they'll take the full 7, some of them seem like they won't. So it's better to get around 6, 6 1/4, 6 1/2, somewhere in there, and kind of start checking your oil from there. So start with our 4 quarts here. So I've got 6 in there, and my motor tends to take about 8 ounces shy of the 7. Seems to be the happy spot. So I'm gonna put what I had left over from a previous oil change. So that bottle's gone, and I gotta put in about 16 more ounces. So if you look here, this tells you kind of your range on your stick. It says it's okay, you know, you can add if it's below. But from what I've read, talked to other people, is really anything in this upper section here is too high. Ideally, I think you kind of want to be right at the top of the 3rd one down, but you know, in between there is okay, I guess, too. But some people are saying if you fill it up all the way, it's too high. There's too much oil in there, and you end up getting a lot of smoke when you start it up, even if you don't have your motor trimmed down. So I try and kind of go in the happy medium area, which is why, like I said, this motor doesn't seem to take the full 7 quarts. That puts it way too high if you put the 7 in there. So they also recommend tilting your motor up and then getting it level. You tilt it up for like 2 minutes and then get it level, and it's technically supposed to be warm too, but I'll let it tilt up for a minute and I'll trim it down, and I'll show you the dipstick. The dipstick is kind of hard to read, kind of hard to tell exactly where the oil is just based on the design of it. All right, so here's the dipstick. And I don't know how well you're going to be able to see. You can see some oil beading off that right there. See, these are a little bit more dry. There's maybe a touch of oil to about there, but you can tell it's pretty dry up here. That's the only thing I don't like about this motor, is it's hard to tell where it's at on here. So like I said, mine takes about 8 ounces shy of 7 quarts, puts it pretty much where I want it. So that's kind of what I roll with. But every motor might be a little bit different, so you kind of got to play with that and just kind of see what it's looking like. So I'm going to put this back in, and then the oil portion of this motor is done. All right, so your lower unit, even easier. Got your pumper here, comes with a little adapter, screws into our bottom hole here. We're going to put it into our bottle of oil, and we're going to pump her up until it comes out of the top hole here. I usually let it come out, let it settle a little bit, pump some more, let it settle, try and get all the air out of there if you have any bubbles or anything. All right, we'll start pumping this thing up. All right, pump that, starts coming out of here. Kind of let it settle just a little bit. Give it a little bit more, kind of let it drain out. While it is draining, kind of leveling out, get your new little gaskets, put these guys on. These are supposed to be a one-time use. Got a little smash type piece in there. If you're in a bind, you can reuse them, or for some reason you don't have new ones, yes, you can reuse them. You know, I have had to do it in a pinch before, but getting new ones is cheap insurance to keep water out of your expensive lower unit. I always put it so the little metal face here goes down towards the head of the bolt. So you get that started. That'll keep some positive, like a vacuum. So when you unscrew your bottom piece, you don't lose a bunch of oil. And get these, you just want them snug. You don't want to tighten the ever-living Jesus out of them. So I get our other one ready here. So then I'll pop this out and we'll put this in and snug it up. You're going to lose just a little bit whenever you take that out. That's normal. All right, and that takes care of your lower unit. Wipe all your extra oil out of here that you can. We'll re-grease the prop shaft while we're here with some 2,4-C. That keeps your really just everything from kind of sticking, makes your prop easy to get off when you need it. Slide this back on.
Why is this not?
All right, then we torque this to 55 foot-pounds. And the prop's ready to go. Okay, now the final piece is our fuel filter. Just a little booger right in here. I'm not gonna lie, this thing is a pain to get out. You gotta undo these metal, or undo these plastic clips over here. There's one here, one here. This is the harder one. And then this thing rotates, does like a quarter turn, and it pops out. So I'll take these clips off, and then I will show you kind of how this pops out once it's free. It's really hard to do and film. Just so you can have a better understanding of how these little clips work, you've got this red tab, and you push in, kind of lines it up like that. So you have to keep pressure on it and wiggle it off all at the same time. And this front one here isn't terrible. This back one is the bear. So sometimes I even try and twist this thing out of here a little bit. Got to twist it clockwise, and then you kind of pull up. It does have an O-ring, so it's kind of got some suction. And you can pop this sensor off, and it makes it a little easier to get this back one off. So here's our new fuel filter. You look down in here, this little port area, it's hard to see. There's a circle, and it's got a wedge, like a cutout piece in it. What you're gonna do is take your new fuel filter, drop it in like this, and then turn it counterclockwise about 90 degrees or so, maybe a little less, and that'll seat it in place. So we'll put our new clips on here and our sensor on, and I like to put just a touch of oil on this rubber gasket so it's not fighting you so much as you spin it into place. Okay, we did it. We got it situated in there. Didn't take too terribly long. Getting them off is way harder. Getting it on, you can get your hand, at least I can get my hand way back in here, grab this and really push to put that on. So now once you get this in, you definitely do want to at least turn your key on, get your fuel pump going, and check around the bottom here for leaks. Check these connections, make sure there's no leaks, anything coming out of here, because you know it is gasoline. And it's not a bad idea either to start it up and let it run for a minute on muffs or whatever. That way you can at least just double check with some good fuel running through it, some pressure on it, and make sure everything's holding up. All right, and the final thing I like to do is give everything a good greasing. Your moving parts here. Got one little grease zerk here. You've got another one. It's a little harder to see. If you look up underneath your steering, hydraulic steering, there's one right up in there, right at the tip of my finger in between. You kind of got to tilt the motor up to get that one. And then you've got another one up here underneath the motor, kind of for your swivel, steering swivel down here. So get just some good marine grease, grease these up, and then I kind of get everything moving just to make sure it gets pushed into the right places. It's also a good idea to put some on your trim balls here. Put some of that 2,4-C on there and rub it all around, get it worked in there. That's really it for the 100-hour service on these motors. They're really easy to work on. I'd say the biggest thing is that fuel filter. I think Mercury was like, we made it super easy to work on this motor, so we had to give them something that's a pain, and that's the fuel filter. Probably easier if you did take this lower cowling off, but that's more work too. So I would just kind of fight it to get it in there. But while you're in here, it's always a good time to look around, look at all your plugs. You can take your plugs out and check them if you need to, if you think it's running rough or something. Inspect them. You check your anodes. They kind of give you a little bit of a guideline here of every 3 years. Or 300 hours, kind of what you need to replace, you know, keep it up with it. And then obviously just take a look around, like I said, and just look at your belt, check your connections. You can look at your alternator and stuff, look at your flywheel. Just try and make sure everything looks like it's in good shape, nothing's you know, jumping out at you. That's gonna lead you to trouble. Another thing, if you do have an older one, I believe they've kind of corrected this. Bring this up here. Got an earlier version. There's a trim pin under here. Get my light so you can see. This little bolt head right in the center of that. That was really notorious for backing out, and then your motor wouldn't start because it was backed out, and it would kind of put it in like a Guardian type mode. I believe they've corrected that. Like this motor here, a little bit newer, doesn't seem to have that issue. It's never backed out before over the years. But if you have an older one and has not been updated, that's definitely something to look at. I believe there's even a recall on that. So other than that, pretty simple to work on these, and just do your maintenance and keep up with it. Keeps it from having to go to a shop. If you want to put it to a shop, that's great, give them business. But for me, it's easier just to do it on my own time. That way I'm not waiting on someone else's schedule, whatever, in and out. It's just easier to get it done. And then, like I said, I like to be familiar with everything on my boat, so it's just easy to work on if I have an issue. But if you want to support the channel, you can get everything you need at PartsVu, and we'll see you on the next video. Hopefully this helps you. It's not too terribly hard if you're somewhat mechanically inclined. So thanks for watching, guys.